tasering a 92-year-old man. Two coppers. I mean, let's hold our fire there. We'll talk about that in just a minute. But we need to go back to my friend long haul Lindsay Hoyle, because this is getting ridiculous, and I'm afraid that we cannot rely on our spineless politicians to say anything about this. This guy's spending, is an issue for great concern in my view. As we know, we've already covered this story at length. Over 3 years, he spent about £270,000, way over £250,000, flying around the globe, something like 19 trips, always to glamorous places, staying in very expensive hotels, some of them 900 quid a night, going out for expensive meals, charging it to the taxpayer, hiring chauffeur-driven limousines. When he went to Montserrat in the Caribbean, he even hired a private jet. He says that it's very important that he does all this because he is on an international diplomatic mission to sell the wonders of speaker-led democracy to the world. And he also thinks that it's his job as Speaker. He doesn't say it's just his job, which his real job is sitting in that chair going, order. He thinks it's his job to go round the world telling foreigners that he thinks they should all join us in backing Ukraine against Russia. I don't know what on earth that has to do with the Speaker. The Speaker's role is not one of international diplomacy. So all of that we have worried about already. We have highlighted it. And I know the audience are going, what the hell is going on here? He's just some MP for Chorley. Why is he spending all this taxpayers' money living the high life? Well, now... by the way, he also, over 3 years, accepted 300 gifts from visiting dignitaries, nearly all of which he kept. He also spent £7 million of our money refurbishing his luxury Westminster apartment. And, again, on taxpayers' expense, there is a £36,000 portrait of the great man hanging in the Westminster corridors of power. So all of this, in my view, is extraordinary, and I wish there was at least one MP or a few MPs who would stand up and say, on behalf of the British taxpayer, Mr. Hoyle, or Sir Lindsay, as we must call you, can you explain all of this? But none of them will do this because they rely on old Sir Lindsay to call them to make their little speeches, the little speeches in Parliament that they think will vault them to the high position in the Cabinet that they all deserve. So if you get on the wrong side of the Speaker, he won't call you to speak. That's why they're all staying silent. Now we learn that since 2023, in the last 2 years, when he had a staff in 2023 of 550. Sorry, not that many. He had a staff. He had a staff of 12, costing £550,000 a year. Quite a lot, if you ask me. That number of staff has gone up to 21, and his staff bill, the wages bill for people in the Speaker's office, is now more than £1 million. I mean, we won't dwell now on what it is, what the hell it is that those 21 people do, but this guy's expenditure with this new revelation, I think is a scandal. The real scandal here is that apart from saying it's very important that I go around the world selling democracy, the Speaker's role is to attend conferences and all this kind of claptrap, he won't really explain why he has turned the Speaker's role into something astronomically expensive, astronomically more expensive than any Speaker before him. We have got a problem here, haven't we?
Well, I think what's happened is Lindsay Hoyle has basically completely redefined the job of Speaker and has effectively created a whole new sort of Whitehall department with himself as a kind of pseudo cabinet minister, but answerable to basically nobody. I mean, it's a wonderful job that he's created.
He's created for himself. I mean, yes.
I seriously think this is a way better job than being Prime Minister, because you seem to be able to just go wherever you like, and you can do whatever you want. And you can do whatever you like, and you can do whatever you like. And you can do whatever you like, and you can do whatever you like. And you can do whatever you like, and you can do whatever you like. And you can do whatever you like, and you can do whatever you like. And you can do whatever you like, and you can do whatever you like. And you can do whatever you like, and you can do whatever you like. And you can do whatever you like, and you can do whatever you like. And you can do whatever you like, and you can do whatever you like. And you can do whatever you like, and you can do whatever you like. And you can do whatever you like, and you can do whatever you like. And you can do whatever you like, and you can do whatever you like. And you can do whatever you like, and you can do whatever you like. And you can do whatever you like, and you can do whatever you like. And you can do whatever you like, and you can do whatever you like. And you can do whatever you like, and you can do whatever you like. And you can do whatever you like, and and you've got a massive team and you're basically unaccountable. Now, I happen to think Lindsay Hoyle is fundamentally a really good guy, and you and I may differ over this.
Well, unless he explains himself, I'm fundamentally differing from it with you. I mean, I don't see what in what I just said makes him a good guy. I mean, he won't explain it apart from a few perfunctory sort of spokesman's statements. He won't really explain it. So if he won't explain it, why is he a good guy? He's spending a lot of our money without explaining it, redefining this role to give himself a rather nice lifestyle.
I wasn't saying that he's a good guy because of sort of almost in spite of the things that you live. So I mean, look, I've reported on many speakers, and I don't know why it is that so many of them turn out to be absolutely ghastly. I mean, John Bercow really took it to the next level in his meddling with Brexit and his quite clear agenda to make it as difficult as possible to honour the result of the referendum. And people will remember how absolutely dreadful that was, because the Speaker is in such a powerful position in Parliament. You know, they really can decide whether something, a grand piece of legislation or plan fails or succeeds. You know, they hold that in their hands. So Bercow was in a terrifyingly powerful position at the most sensitive of times. And Michael Martin, Gorbals Mick, many years ago, he was really unspeakable.
The unspeakable speaker. Yes, he was.
Yeah.
Yes, he was.
So, I mean, relative to these people, I really like Lindsay Hoyle personally. He is a decent man, and I think he does the job. Setting aside the expenses thing, which I know is the subject of what we're talking about,
doesn't make him that makes him sort
he
of.
Does his job really fairly as a speaker.
Why did he tell MPs that they couldn't discuss Southport and the suspect after?
Do you know what? I think I came on this show and I think I indicated just how unhappy he was about being put in that position.
Well, he didn't have to say it, did he?
He really, well, I think he was in an extreme.
Being told by the Prime Minister, so he's not biased towards Labour then?
I actually don't think he is biased towards Labour.
Well,
no.
yeah, but he sort of was there. He was helping the Prime Minister out, wasn't he?
Oh, I think there's more of that. More to. There are things.
He shouldn't have done that, Isabel. He should not have done that.
There are things
he should not have told MPs not to discuss the Southport suspect. That's not his job to do that. If they want to discuss it, they can. Parliamentary privilege.
I don't think it was at all happy.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah.
So look, you and I don't have to agree on everything to have a fun discussion.
I think you're basically with me, aren't you? With the, I mean, I'm not necessarily.
I think it would be okay if that was actually the job description from the beginning. You know, if the job was
exactly.
Okay, this is what you do, and you're basically like a kind of foreign secretary, but sort of unaccountable. You're a kind of extra ambassador, because that's what he's turned it into. And he probably does it very well. I think the problem is that isn't the job, or never was the job. And we're all sitting here seeing the cost of that role that he's created for himself ballooning. And I agree with you that is problematic. Where perhaps we differ slightly is you saying that MPs are spineless for not speaking up about this.
Well, why doesn't someone say something?
Because it's really damn difficult. Because
no, they don't say anything in case Lindsay doesn't pick them to make their little speeches. They're all terrified of him, and you know it.
I'm not denying that.
Well, I think that's pathetic, isn't it?
No, it isn't, because as an MP, you've got to be able to make what you're calling those little speeches. Those little speeches are really important. This is your chance as an MP to participate in the parliamentary process. I mean, of course, you can do your bit in some obscure committee of, secondary review of some clause of legislation no one's ever heard of. Yeah. But being in the parliamentary debate is what matters to MPs.
I agree with that. But so in pursuit of that, all of these MPs are prepared to completely overlook serious allegations that the Speaker is misusing public funds. I'm not saying he is or he isn't, but these are the allegations. They've appeared all over the press, and you're saying that it's absolutely fine that every MP is prepared to overlook these very serious charges because they're going to make their little speeches. That's not right.
Well,
Is there something wrong with that situation?
What I'm saying is that they're not, quote, little speeches.
Yeah,
they are what MPs are employed to do. Yeah. And secondly,
make little speeches. Yeah, go on.
What I'm not saying is that it's absolutely fine. What I'm saying is I understand.
So do I.
Why
Absolutely.
it's so difficult for them.
Yeah. No,
and, you know, I'm going to declare an interest, by the way. My partner is an MP, and I understand the importance of being able to speak in Parliament. Your constituents judge you if you are invisible and inaudible in Parliament. So it is very difficult for all MPs, whatever their party affiliations, to take on the Speaker. And perhaps someone's going to be brilliantly brave and do it, Kev, and then we can cheer them on. But what I'm trying to give our liurlisteners is some context here.
You're talking about practical realities. I totally understand what you're saying. This situation is not acceptable. And I do understand why MPs think, well, if I lash out at the Speaker, I'll never be heard again. I get that. That is not an acceptable situation. The problem we have here is there is no system of checking the Speaker. The Speaker is like, you know, the Lord, the God of all he surveys. There is no way of criticising him because the MPs are too scared. There is no mechanism to criticise him. And we have very serious charges here that public money is being wasted by this guy. As I say, I'm stressing, I'm not saying those charges are true. I'm not saying that Sir Lindsay Hoyle cannot justify what he's doing. But these are serious charges, and we have had no proper explanation from the Speaker. Frankly, as I say, it is all round a very unsatisfactory situation.